Hello there, my dear friend. I am so glad you could join me today. Please have a seat and make yourself comfortable. If you are over 60 or getting close to it, what we are about to discuss today could literally be the turning point between living a peaceful life, enjoying your retirement and your family, or spending years suffering from one of the greatest shadows over men's health: prostate problems. I am Dr. Richard, and throughout my decades in urology, I have seen it all. I have noticed that many men make the same mistakes every single day, without having the slightest clue that they are slowly damaging their own prostate. Today, I want to be completely honest with you about the 10 most dangerous habits that might be silently causing your prostate to swell. Have you ever found yourself getting up multiple times a night to go to the bathroom? Or maybe you feel like your urine stream is weak, or that your bladder never fully empties. You might be thinking, "Doctor, that is just part of getting older, right? Every man goes through this." Well, I hear that all the time in my office, but let me tell you something. Although the prostate tends to grow over time, suffering is not mandatory. I have treated 80-year-old men who live without any urinary discomfort because they knew how to take care of the details. And those details are exactly what we are going to talk about right now. Let's start with habit number 10, which might seem a bit backwards: not drinking enough water. Many of you are probably thinking, "But doctor, if I drink a lot of water, I will never be able to leave the bathroom." It makes sense in your head, doesn't it? If I put less liquid in, less liquid comes out. But let me explain how your body actually works, using a simple metaphor. Imagine the plumbing system in a house. If you use very little water, the waste sits there, the smell gets strong, and the pipes start to corrode. In your body, when you do not drink enough water, your urine becomes extremely concentrated and acidic. This acidic urine is like a corrosive chemical passing through delicate tissue. It irritates the bladder wall and consequently the prostate, which sits right underneath like a gatekeeper for your urethra. This constant irritation leads to inflammation. And what does inflammation do? It makes tissues swell. So, by trying to avoid the bathroom, you end up creating urine so irritating that your bladder wants to kick it out at any cost, even if there is only a tiny bit. This causes that annoying sense of urgency. See the problem? The solution is to sip water throughout the day. Your urine should be clear like weak lemonade. Do not be afraid of water. It is the lubricant that keeps your prostate cool and calm. Now for habit number 9. Sitting for hours on end. I know after 60, that armchair for watching the news or reading a book is very tempting. But have you ever stopped to think about what happens mechanically to your body in that position? Think of the prostate as a small, delicate fruit. When you sit for a long time, the entire weight of your torso crushes that pelvic region against the chair. It is like parking a car on top of a garden hose. Blood flow drops drastically. Without fresh blood arriving, oxygen cannot get in and toxins cannot get out. The result? Tissue inflammation. Furthermore, your pelvic floor muscles become lazy and weak. When you finally stand up to urinate, those muscles do not have the strength to contract and empty the bladder completely. That leftover urine sitting inside is the perfect fuel for bacteria. So the rule is clear. Every 30 minutes, stand up. Go get a glass of water, walk around the room. Keep the blood flowing. Your pelvis needs to breathe. Moving on to habit number 8. Too much caffeine. I know, that cup of coffee is a sacred ritual. But have you ever wondered why, right after that second or third cup, the urge to go hits you full force? Caffeine is a natural diuretic, but it does more than just produce urine. It is a stimulant that makes your bladder muscles contract erratically. It is as if caffeine is giving the motor of your bladder an electric shock. For a man whose prostate is already a bit enlarged, this extra pressure is a disaster. On top of that, it tightens the neck of the bladder, which is the exact spot where the urine needs to pass through. In other words, it increases the urge to go while simultaneously closing the exit door. This puts enormous stress on the prostate. Do you need to stop drinking coffee? No, I am not a villain, but moderation is the key word. Try to stick to 1 cup in the morning, and if you want another in the afternoon, switch to decaf or herbal tea. Feel the difference in your comfort level in just 2 or 3 days. Habit number 7 involves spicy and processed foods. You might be thinking, Dr. Richard, what does my food have to do with my urine? Food doesn't go through there. That is true. It does not pass through there as urine. But the byproducts of what you eat circulate in your blood. Ultra-processed foods like deli meats, salty snacks, and frozen meals are loaded with sodium and chemical preservatives. Too much salt makes you retain fluid, which overloads your entire internal hydraulic system. And what about the bad fats in those foods? They mess with your hormones, especially testosterone. Since the prostate is a gland completely dependent on hormones, any imbalance is like putting the wrong fuel in a high-performance engine. It starts to fail, overheat, and grow. Try to peel more and unwrap less. Your prostate loves fresh foods like fish, vegetables, and fruit. And speaking of urinating, we have arrived at habit number 6, holding it in for too long. You know when you are in traffic or busy with a task and you say, I will go in a little bit? The bladder is like a latex balloon. If you keep it stretched to the limit for too long, it starts to lose its elasticity. And when it is too full, it pushes down on the prostate. Imagine a heavy bladder constantly crushing the prostate. This causes micro-injuries to the prostatic tissue. Plus, stagnant urine is contaminated urine. It is like a puddle of water on a hot day. It becomes a breeding ground for trouble. If your body gives you the signal, respect the signal. Go to the bathroom as soon as you feel the need. Do not treat your bladder like an infinite storage tank. Habit number 5 is one of the most serious, smoking or being around secondhand smoke. You probably think, but doesn't smoking only attack the lungs and heart? If only it were that simple. The toxins from cigarettes enter your bloodstream and cause systemic inflammation. Imagine those chemicals are tiny hot coals traveling through your blood. When they pass through the delicate tissues of the prostate, they cause small chemical burns, creating oxidative stress. This not only increases the size of the gland, but drastically raises the risk of prostate cancer. If you smoke, I know it is hard to quit. But know that the benefit to your urinary health begins almost immediately after that last cigarette. Your circulation improves, inflammation goes down, and you stop suffocating your pelvic cells. Now, habit number 4 is something I fight against every day in my clinic: avoiding the doctor. Many men of your generation were raised with the idea that a man only goes to the doctor when he is dying. Let me tell you something as a friend. The prostate is sneaky. It can grow silently for years without giving off a single loud warning. By the time the symptoms feel unbearable, the problem is often quite advanced. Routine exams, like the PSA blood test and the physical exam, are quick and they save lives. I know there is a taboo, and I know many feel embarrassed. But there is no shame in looking after your own longevity. Treating a problem early often requires nothing more than a change in diet. Leaving it for later could mean surgeries you could have avoided. Be the captain of your ship. Get your annual checkup. Habit number 3 is the excessive consumption of red meat. I love a barbecue as much as anyone, but the science here is clear. Red meat, especially processed ones like bacon and sausage, is high in saturated fats which are highly pro-inflammatory. For a man over 60, digestion is slower. The body takes more time to process these heavy proteins, which increases abdominal pressure and internal inflammation. I am not telling you to become a vegetarian, far from it. But how about swapping daily red meat for grilled fish or chicken 3 or 4 times a week? Your digestive system will work with less effort, and your prostate won't be bombarded by fats that stimulate uncontrolled cell growth. We have reached habit number 2, carrying excess belly fat. That beer belly that many think is harmless. You might be thinking, "Doctor, what does my stomach have to do with my prostate? They are in different places." Actually, belly fat is not just dead weight. It is like an active chemical plant inside you. This fat produces inflammatory substances and enzymes that convert your testosterone into estrogen, the female hormone. And guess what makes the prostate grow? That hormonal imbalance. Plus, physically, the weight of the belly crushes the pelvic organs. It is constant mechanical pressure on the bladder. Losing just 5 or 10 pounds already relieves that pressure on your urinary system. A 20-minute walk every day starts to reduce inflammation in that region. And finally, habit number 1. The one almost nobody associates with the prostate, but which is the most dangerous: not managing chronic stress. You might be thinking, "But doctor, what does stress have to do with the urge to pee?" Everything. When you are stressed, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline. This keeps your muscles in a state of high alert. And where do men hold a lot of tension? In the pelvic region. Stress makes you unconsciously tighten the muscles around the prostate. This reduces blood flow and irritates the nerves in the area. Have you ever noticed that on days when you are very worried, you go to the bathroom more often? That is your nervous system shouting. Chronic stress keeps the prostate in a permanent state of inflammation. Learning to relax, whether through a walk, a hobby, or just a few minutes of silence, is a powerful medicine. Laughter, connecting with friends, and a good night's sleep are literally natural anti-inflammatories for your gland. My friend, we have covered a lot today. You must be wondering, where do I even start? It is so much to change. My recommendation is simple. Pick one. Just one of these habits to change this week. Start by drinking an extra glass of water when you wake up. Or decide you will get out of your chair every half hour. The important thing is to start. Your prostate did not swell up overnight, and it will not shrink in 24 hours. But with consistency, your body has an amazing ability to recover. You do not have to accept discomfort as a normal part of aging. You have the power to take back control. I hope this information has brought you some clarity. Taking care of your health is not just about living longer. It is about living better, with dignity and comfort. Take care of your prostate, and it will allow you to enjoy every moment of your life with the intensity you deserve. Until our next conversation.